Hello there, peasants, and today I'm going to be comparing two versions of The Shining, the US 144-minute version and a non-US 115-minute version. First off, let me just give you a quick background as to why Kubrick decided to do this. The Shining initially suffered poor reviews and slow box office, so Kubrick decided to cut 29 minutes from the film for the release outside of the USA. Oddly enough, Kubrick thought this 115-minute version was better. The 144-minute version was incorrectly referred to as the director's cut. The full version is now only unavailable in Europe, but it once applied to us. So, here is a list of the changes. Number 1. The last line of Wendy and Danny's conversation, along with a lot of the interview scene after, has been cut. The deleted part of the interview scene is where Jack is introduced to Bill Watson, and Jack says that he changed his job from a school teacher to a writer for a change in his life. Ullman goes through the seasons of the hotel and why they close down completely until the next time their season arrives, also adding that their site was chosen for its seclusion and its scenic beauty. Number 2. The whole scene with the doctor examining Danny after Danny's first blackout has been cut, along with Wendy and the doctor's conversation after. In the first part of the scene, where Danny is with the doctor asks Danny about his imaginary friend Tony, who is the one that gave Danny the visions that caused the blackout in the first place. In the second part of the scene, Wendy and the doctor walk into the living room and start having a conversation as to how things had been going for Danny in the past. Wendy brings up an incident that happened during Jack's alcoholic days 5 months ago, where Jack came home one night in a drunken fit of rage, and as Danny had scattered papers all over the floor, Jack tried to pick it up, but instead accidentally dislocated Danny's shoulder, not touching alcohol since. Number 3. Many tour scenes are slightly cut, and the first one is where Wendy asks if the Indian designs are authentic. Ullman explains that they are based on ancient Navajo and Apache motifs, also going into all of the famous people that have come to the hotel. Number 4. A part has been cut where Wendy and Jack keep looking at their rooms when Ullman tells them that they can use any room in the hotel if theirs is too small. The first part of the scene where Jack and Wendy are shown outside of the hotel has also been cut. In this small part, Ullman points out the hedge maze and says he wouldn't go in unless he had an hour or so to spare. Number 5. The scene before Wendy and Danny go in the kitchen with Dick Hallorann, along with the first part of that scene, has been cut. In the scene before, Ullman shows Jack and Wendy the gold room and explains that liquor is stopped during the winter to keep insurance costs low. Hallorann arrives, and the secretary Susie arrives with Danny, saying she found Danny outside the games room. Jack moves on with Ullman, and Wendy and Danny are taken by Hallorann into the kitchen. In the missing part of the first scene, Hallorann says that he heard Jack introducing Wendy as Winifred. Hallorann asks if she's a Winnie or a Freddie, and she says she's a Wendy, with Hallorann saying that's the prettiest. Number 6. A small part of Hallorann and Danny's conversation is removed. When asked by Danny if he is scared of the Overlook Hotel, Hallorann says that he's not, but says some places are like people, some shine and some don't. I guess you could say the Overlook Hotel here has something about it that's like shining. Number 7. The first shot with Wendy wheeling the trolley through the hotel has been cut. This is the shot where she is wheeling around the breakfast tray towards their hotel room in order to serve Jack breakfast in the morning. Number 8. The scene with Jack in bed with breakfast is shorter. In the missing part of the scene, Wendy says to Jack that she thought the hotel was scary at first, but she likes it more now, whereas Jack had always loved it, but he had intense feelings that he had been there before, making ghostly sounds after as a joke. Number 9. Jack's scene, where he is throwing the ball against the wall, is cut short, with the first shot being shortened as a result of cutting the transition, and the second shot being completely cut. The part of the shot where Wendy is racing Danny and shows him the garbage bin on the way, saying the loser has to keep America clean, how's that, has been cut. Number 10. The scene where Wendy is in the kitchen and a news reporter talks about a missing hiker as well as the future weather in Colorado has been cut. Number 11. The part of the shot where Jack continues typing after his tantrum has been cut, along with the Thursday title card after, and the first part of the shot where Danny and Wendy are out in the snow having fun. Number 12. The scene where Danny and Wendy are watching TV and Danny asks to get his toy fire engine, with Wendy telling him to be quiet with Jack asleep, has been cut. Number 13. A part of Jack and Lloyd's scene has been cut where Jack says, "Here's to 5 miserable months in the wagon and all the irreparable harm that it's caused me." Lloyd asks how things are going for him and Jack says things could be better because of wife troubles. Lloyd says women can't live with him, can't live without him, with Jack agreeing. Number 14. During Wendy and Jack's conversation after checking room 237, Jack's line, "It wouldn't be that different from the episode that he had before he came up here, would it?" has been cut. Number 15. There is a scene cut where Wendy is walking around crying to herself. Wendy is seen thinking out loud about how they would need the snowcat to leave the hotel immediately and without Jack. Also cut is where Danny interrupts this by yelling "Red Rum," and a worried Wendy runs into Danny's room, seeing Danny sitting up in his bed. Wendy begs Danny to wake up, but only gets a response from Tony saying that Danny's not there. Wendy hugs him in the first part of the next shot with Jack walking towards the radio, more specifically the part of the line where the radio person says this is KDK1 calling KDK12, has been cut. Number 16. A part of the shot has been cut where you see Jack pull out 2 other batteries from the radio instead of just one, and you see him walk away. Also cut is the entire scene after. Halloran's phone call to the ranger station at the Overlook Hotel has been cut. The rangers say that they've tried to contact the Torrances many times through the radio, but there's been no response, and they say they will call again later and try again. Also, the 8 AM title card after has been cut. Number 17. A massive part of the film has been cut. In the first bit, Halloran asks the stewardess when they are due to land in Denver, Colorado, and she says that they are due to land at 8:20. A shot of Jack and his typewriter after has also been cut. In the next bit, Halloran's plane lands at the airport, and in order to find a snowcat to get to the Overlook, he calls Larry Durkin of Durkin's Garage. Durkin tells Halloran that the roads are all blocked off, but after Halloran says that the people looking after the Overlook Hotel turned out to be unreliable, and after he estimates that it would take him about 5 hours to get to the Overlook, Durkin organises a snowcat for him. Number 18. The part where Danny and Wendy are watching TV when Wendy tells Danny she'll meet Jack and be right back, sneakily grabbing a baseball bat on her way, has been cut. Number 19. The final change. During the maze chase scene, a scene where Wendy runs into skeletons in the gold room has been removed. Wendy, as usual looking in shock and terror, notices skeletons and webs all over the place, with alcoholic drinks placed on the tables in front of them. Well, there you go. That was my comparison between the US and non-US versions of The Shining. See you later, peasants.